check. Hello? Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check. Hey, we got audio. How about it?
Sweet. Hey, you gotta have almost all the way up.
Well, we'll tell the guys talking not to yell too loud.
Look at you. What'd you even do? Put stereo input to right input and it worked?
But I wonder if it could go up to mono with
And it'd be both. Is that just the right speaker? Can you tell if it's just the right speaker?
input.
Mic check.
Yeah, that's both.
That's both.
Yeah.
And it's might be a little louder too. Yeah.
Y'all are. Do that.
Can't do
Okay.
that. Don't push that red button.
Hey, and I don't know where y'all sale time tonight, but I mean, typically I'm up here on the block.
That's fine.
That way nobody's watching
Yep.
my screen back
Yep.
there.
Perfect. And Cheyenne can sit up there and block because your dad's not touching it, I guess. Your mom can, so Cheyenne said she told her mom she would do it. Yep. You're gonna drive a bunch of them. Do you want one person to drive along? They could just stay in and we can bring them up and get them out.
Be running them, helping people get them up here. We got two girls that
And Tucker will be here too.
yeah, he wants to jump in. No way you want. Nobody.
Okay, so do you want this down there?
Yeah, that's where it'll go.
Gotta be real easy.
Alright. What we got going on?
Sub out, no problem.
Let's just set it in that corner for now. Hey, fun. Turn that pad on.
I'm gonna
Mic check, 1, 2. Let's just do that, huh?
See, does that come through on what? Okay. Okay.
So you're only going to get one mic.
Well, you could plug this one in that other. We should have it. I think so.
Did you have the other cord that has the?
You got it in your hand.
It don't plug into this. The other mic cord. Is that what you took down? Can we run 2 mics?
Break check 19 break check breaker 19.
You got tail. Yeah, hand me that one.
Tatum said she'd stay in the ring and send us there.
Yeah, get her sticks for sure. More the merrier. On some things.
Love you too, sugar. Aww. So special.
Let me have that one. Is that the one that go to mic? That one won't go to a mic? Okay. So yeah, you only got one mic.
Hey, let's go in order. Now, since them boys have already left, let's just start them in order. We're not trying to hurry and get this going. Go backwards. Where we going? Griswold? If we start at these, I might have to go with you. I like the shit I say. Yeah.
Check check
You still hearing through the mic?
check 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 check
So is it just the master volume on the box that's letting it play out here?
check 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 check.
I'm just trying to see if you can hear him not hear it over.
Oh, yeah, I'll get. Okay.
Check check.
We are just bringing our first pigs up to the ring. Sorry, we've had some sound technical difficulties, so we will be bringing hogs in very shortly. Appreciate you tuning in. Just bear with us as we get our first ones lined up. Who we start with? Swan.
Thank you all for tuning in this morning. We're going to keep this short and sweet and get some points taken across, and we're going to preview what we got to sell tonight. Here at GNO 2023. I think Austin was saying this is the 19th year of this thing. Not a whole lot of us remember, but it started down in Prague. Coy Farmer used to run this deal and had about 8 breeders, and they'd bring a breed apiece, and That was a long time before land races and Herefords and all that good stuff. We're going to start out here with Klein's lot 21. This will be a Chester gilt. She's a didn't go 20 boxed out box office. Notes say this is gets us fired up here at Klein Swine. Didn't go 20 back on the famous Trogdon sow that's made quite a name for herself. First two litters being the Mama Perfect Game that was high seller at Belton last year, and the Reserve Bear at OIE, and the 5th overall Chester gilt at Tulsa last week. This one's got big league proportions in terms of bone. Get in where you fit in, lots of power and pedigree. Show gilt or a sow, she won't disappoint. And when you get to looking at that thing and the extension up through her front end and the bone that she's got, she's square coming and going. Very nice Chester female there, and good piece of livestock for sure to start our morning off.
There was a gilt Cooper would have drove a couple years ago. I'm not sure where she fits in the pedigree, but she was reserve Chester at OIE, and by the looks of it, I'm saying there's probably some relation, because this gilt, Cooper's definitely committed to selling a very special gilt, because this one is virtually identical to that gilt at this size and stage, to that reserve at OIE, and arguably a gilt that year that I guess for me was definitely a personal favorite within that breed. And she's just a very intriguing, very special female. Really appreciate Cooper bringing that gilt.
That's lot 21 from Klein Swine. Next, it looks like we got Alton Weathers Show Pigs gilt coming in. This one's impressive to look at from every angle. Absolutely gorgeous. Bred almost identical to 3 cell-making gilts at Tulsa last week. No guesswork here. Buy her with confidence. She's an OG on a Nomad on OCD's mama. So that's how I'm sure originated there at Morgan's and bred to this OG boar that Strieber raised that Alton's collecting out there. I think that boar just made the champion or grand at Colorado State Fair. And looking at this one, I'm sure there's going to be more winners in his future. This gilt's flawless. She's got a huge forearm, huge foot laid in her. The rear wheel works extremely well like it should. Shapely up high with an extremely neat look up through the front end. This one is lot 1 from Weathers Show Pigs.
We're going into wintertime, so if you want to drive a good show pig, go ahead and sell your boat and buy this one, because this one is going to continue the legacy that OG's building right now. And Alton was telling me the other day, I believe OG had roughly, out of 5 litters fared this past spring, he put 8 gilts and bears in the sale at Tulsa and Champion Light Barrow. So I'm not sure that there's many boars that can say the same on a per capita basis, that they can stick that many in a sale. This gilt can do much more than that, than simply get you in a sale. This gilt's the kind that can go win the whole deal. So bid with confidence. It's a very special one.
That's lot 1 from Alton Weathers Show Pigs. Next up, we're going to have Miller Time Genetics. They're out there, Alton Weathers' neighbor out there. This will be lot 2. She is a perfect. Sorry, that's lot 19 in the ring. She's a perfect stranger, never before cruel. First litter, never before sow. It goes back to the foundation cruel sow. Mom did a dang good job in the crate, and this one was Snapchat worthy at birth. I think she's Snapchat famous, he said. And judging by the look of the shape of the back and the hip in this thing, I'd understand why. She's very neat up through her front end, got an extremely stout skull in her, takes a long stride, rear wheels work like they're supposed to. Very nice crossbred gilt here from the Miller Time crew. And once again, that's lot 19. Lot 26. Next one's coming in is going to be lot 26 from Lambert's and 27. We'll study on them both here. Lot 26 and lot 27 from Lambert's. What is super? The lot 26, it looks like, is a super necessary on a 76 sow, and the lot 27 is a super necessary on a born with it sow. And you get to looking at these gilts, and they're very trendy up through the front end. Look like they balance extremely well, shapely up high, big hips and hind leg laid in them. Square coming and going. I think it's a nice pair. They're a little bit different on the south side, but both out of this super necessary boar. And but both these things look like they'll feed and fit the deal. Super necessary is a here's the deal back on an old backdraft sow. And from looking at these two, I mean, I think he did okay there.
So I called Nate and asked him if he'd bring a pair of Duroc gilts, because arguably in the last probably 8 years, there's been a very small number of people that has been consistent as they have been putting Duroc gilts in the sale at OYE. And not only that, but also being champion. I think, a couple years ago, 3 years ago, you guys had champion Duroc gilt 21 at OYE. These guys, it's a passion of theirs, and if you're going to raise Durocs, it's got to be your passion, because these things, when they're good, they're great, and they're the funnest animals you can drive. And when they're not, it's a long season. These two right here can make your season fun. These two gilts are very high quality. Really appreciate Nate bringing these two. Like these two gilts quite a bit.
Coming in next will be Ben Smith at B7 show stock. Are you going to run them all three? Okay, we're going to run them all three. There's going to be a pair of Hampshire gilts that are No Doubt Black Panthers. And No Doubt is a boar that Ben had at Belton last year and bred him back to his mom. So that's the way these these belted gilts lined up. These are purebred Hampshires. Birth dates are September 1 birth dates on all three of these, but that Hampshire's the pedigree there. Very nice pair of Hampshire gilts. And then we get into the little red gilt, which will be, what's she, lot 40 what? The little red gilt's lot 49 there, and that thing is a, hang on, let me get these pedigrees. What's the, draft pick green bottles is what the little red gilt is. And you talking about studying one that just came off the decks not long ago. Look at the head and neck in this thing and how square in the build. She's short-backed. Center body's incredible in that one. That's a very nice red gilt if you want to win D1 at OYE. I think that one's got a shot. These Hamp gilts are square. They got big hips laid in them. That's a big problem in them Hampshires. And when you get a hip like that in that little girl there, and I think that those two can play it at a high level in the Hampshire deal.
I mean, probably 90% of the folks that's going to be at this sale at some point in their life, or at least I would think, has seen pigs this size on wire. And personally, I love buying them at this size because you can see what they are. You can see that they're on their way up. These things have a lot of potential. And, being a September 1 at OYE, from a age standpoint within the Hampshire breed, respectively, it's not going to matter a whole bunch if you're the biggest or the smallest. You just have to be the best. And these two Hampshire gilts offer a ton of good. They've got a rib cage and a build, and the right kind of blade and pin set to go and feed and be very good purebred gilts, regardless of where they end up in the state. And that red gilt's real trendy and shapely, and looks like she's got a bright future of her own. I wouldn't let size deter anybody from these gilts because they're just green enough, but they're just getting ready enough. And I think that's a great middle ground to buy your gilts for OYE. You can see the potential, you can see the good, and then these things. Let's see, Mama would have raised Ben's Belton entry that he had last year in a gilt that was third at San Angelo. I know he's very proud of that boar, and he's been building around that sow. Ben's about to be a dad, so he told me, he said, I got to sell some pigs, and we're gonna focus on this. So these are 2 gilts right here in this Hampshire breed I think people ought to take advantage of.
Very good group. That's B7's consignment today. 2 Hampshires and a red gilt. Next, we're going to jump in MC cubed. MC3. It's not MC cubed, just MC3. MC3, the Ward girls. We leave Cheyenne out and just call it the girls, and we'll be better off. This first one's lot 31. This is their York gilt. She's an out cold, struck a nerve prophet. If you've been around the Yorkshire Drive here in Oklahoma the last few years, you know what they've done in that breed specifically, and not just the pures but the dirties as well. But this gilt is pure. She raised the 6th overall York at OYE in 22, the 5th overall York gilt in 23, reserve breed gilt at Coba last year. And we think this 44-5 is even better at that stage than the 5th overall last year. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own this female. You start studying this one, and she looks like what they are known for. That one's just elegant in her look. She's extremely great designed. Hip and hind leg might be perfect in that thing. And study it up through the head carriage. That York gilt doesn't disappoint. And I mean, you can see it on the video. That one there is made right. And I don't think that these girls don't like bringing one that doesn't look the part out in public. So if they brought her out in public, I'm sure that they're pretty proud of her too. So get in where you fit in there. I think that's a very nice Yorkshire female from MC3, lot 31. Lot 32 here. This will be your notch 31-5. This is the next on deck, next step. Next on deck cut a swath last winter in his first set of pigs, and these have been doing. These are pigs do very well. They feed well. Can't wait to see what they'll do for this next season. This next step, it was a Colson boar. That's what the mama's out of. This litter's been extremely popular to the public. This mama had a successful show career, still is impressive in her sow pasture. This gilt was a stoutie and the outlier of the litter. And by looking at her, you can see why. This one has great big jumbo bones out the back end. Her hips square, works like it's supposed to. And that skull, but the density that she carries between her eyes there and the front foot pattern and that thing, that's a very nice calico female in her own right.
You know, everybody has a preference on color and whatnot, but just, from my personal opinion, this is like the best ideal color for a calico. And this thing is a sporty rig that is extra hairy. When they got hair coming off their elbow and their ankles, I mean, they're going to have it. And this one just looks like a box. She's stout, still reads to be extra maternal in her body shape, and it still has a set of wheels that could go for days. I mean, if you want a crossbred gilt that can get you in the middle real quick, this one needs a hard look.
That's lot 32 from MC3. The next one's going to be their next lot. I assume that's going to be 33. 33, we got a little belted gilt here. This is the next on deck Dirty Lovin' Visionary. And I think the pedigree on that thing, on the mama side especially, reads like she's going to whoop somebody's ass one day. That Dirty Lovin' Visionary, I mean, that's as good as it makes right now. She looks very promising as well. Mama made the grand gilt of Cherokee County in 21. Very neat, freaky gilt that has the right style presence it takes to win at the show ring. Look at that thing's look that she carries from the ring. As soon as she's going to be a two-stepper, soon 2 steps in the ring, and they're going to see that head and that front end and send her straight to the back. That thing balances extremely well. Takes a long stride off both ends. That thing's very good in her own right. That's lot 33 here from MC3.
Yeah, I think a very good trio. And as we move into a couple of these purebreds, So far this crossbred deal is ankle deep or knee deep. I mean, they're real good. We'll go ahead and ease her out. I do not. Josh does. Rachel does. Appreciate Heath putting the power fit on these two we brought from home, and I'll tell you right now, they are far from where I'd prefer they be to be at a live sale setting, but I think these two gilts have a ton of potential. For those who are interested in pedigrees, they're practically their own cousins. These things are Hocus Pocus, which is a Born With It son that Levi and I had bought from Bellamy as a baby. And then Mother would be a Born With It on Born With It's mom. So it'd be the real good shortcut sow that would also be a sister to the mother of Here's the Deal. These things, family tree, goes straight up. And I really think this pair's contrasting, but they're both very good in terms of quality. The 41 gilt kind of was the early standout of the pair, just in terms of presence and height to shoulder and length to neck. I really like her stoutness of feature, and I think in terms of athleticism, that gilt's there. She's a shot greener in terms of muscle and maybe just where her chest is at this stage, but I think it's coming. That sow is a litter mate to the reserve Duroc gilt at the State Fair of Texas. And I know that the 42 gilt, the kind of maybe darker colored gilt of the pair, lighter colored gray, however you want to word it, that gilt's maybe a little fuzzy headed right now, but that thing in terms of her pieces could be as valuable at 300 pounds as anything we've ever raised. Her chest, blade, front end assembly, and I think she's got absolutely the perfect head near set for a Duroc. Love her build. They've been off wire for about a week, so they're still getting things figured out, but these are two gilts that we're very proud of. We're very confident that as they go to their new owner and they go home, they're going to keep getting better, and in 2 weeks you're going to love what you have more so than you do right now. And even though you may like them at this stage, you're going to love them in 2 weeks. I think a pair of gilts that offer a lot of good for this breed.
That's real-time genetics, lot 41 and 42. Austin read them like he liked them. I mean, he's bred the mama to both of them things and kept them all, and born with its mama, or born this way on Born With Its mama. Well, the sow is born with it on Born With Its mama, yeah. Louder milk spotted hogs, lot 7 and lot 8. The closest one to you, the dark colored gilt there, that'll be 7. That is the powerhouse of the bunch. She is a Black Pearl, heads up, speak up. Black Pearl's a boar that purchased last summer with Top Cut. He started class winner at Missouri State Fair. $23,000 Sweethearts gilt earlier this summer. The mother's a first litter gilt that is a mate to the D1 spot bearer at Team Purebred, as well as the 5th overall spot gilt at 22 Indiana State Fair. Grandma's a litter mate to Geyer's gilt and the Doors gilt from the summer of 21 that were top 5 every show nationally that summer. Speak Up Sal just produced the reserve spot gilt at Ohio State Fair. So that we're talking about lot 7. That's here on the far side. That is the stout, boxy one with a great big hip and hind leg laid in her. Very neat individual. Then we get into the wider one. That'll be lot 8. And she is a White Claw on a Hollywood Boulevard. White Claw is an Armstrong boar that they purchased last summer that sired the reserve spot at Ohio, 4th overall spot at Indiana, and junior show, and 3rd overall spot at NJSA. Mama produced 2nd heavyweight bear at San Antonio and cell qualifier at Houston. So the pedigree and the guesswork's done here. Both these are out of proven sows. They both got big legs. They both have the muscle. They look the part. Neat head, neat skull. You study on these things and like them how you buy them how you like them. That's a very nice pair of spotted gilts from Louder Milk.
I think a really good pair here, and before we bring in his crossbred gilt, I mean, both of these spot gilts, I'm not sure, I'm not sure how much you've got to travel or how much fuel you've got to spend to go find two that are at this stage, this obvious, and of this quality. So don't overthink it here. These two gilts are extremely good from a firm that has won about everything you can win in that breed, and made countless boars that have influenced it. Let's go ahead and ease them out and bring his crossbred in.
Next coming in will be lot 9. That'll be Loudermilk's crossbred. Oh, this painted up calico thing, she sure is fancy. She's a Last Dance Timber Dirty Secret. First litter gilt from Trace Amigo. They go back to the Dirty Secret Lackey sow that they purchased a couple years ago. You study on this lot 9 gilt and just look at her from the side and know that you got to like her. She's going to demand your attention. Real extremely cool up through her front end, hip and hind leg. Looks like it works like it should. Very nice crossbred female here from the Loudermilk firm. Lot number 9. They got another one? What lots of these? Next pair in will be Clay Pruitt's Chester Gilts, lot 12 and lot 13. The lot 12 gilt here, closest to the podium at the moment. That thing is a Fresh Prince Crackerjack. The Fresh Prince was Alton Walters champion boar at Duncan last year. That's standing at Crossroads. The mama of that thing, Crackerjack Pillow Talk. The Pillow Talk sow is the mama of Slushy at Frontlines. It's out of the Junie sow that was champion Chester and 4th overall at Team Purebred. That's the lot 12 gilt that's over here closest to us. The lot 13 gilt will be a Fresh Prince Delta. That's the one right in the middle of the ring there, 13. We already said Fresh Prince is at Crossroads, and her mama's the Delta. The mama was a reserve at Indiana State Fair. The grandma was 8th. Was sired by Bridge Builder and was a reserve Chester at the Team Purebred Mid-South region in 21. Clay's been on a tear in these Chester hogs, and it's a good chance that if you haven't showed one, you've been beat by somebody that has been. Clay makes these things stout and cool up through the front end, and he's kind of got stamped a look in his Chester hogs that's kind of noticeable. And if you don't have one, you might get beat by one. Get beat by one. I think that's an extremely good pair, nice pair of Chester females by Clay Pruitt.
I mean, both of these gilts are, like, if you're interested in this breed and you want to put together a sow herd, I'd just buy the pair and double down because these two are absolutely awesome in terms of their basics, and then they got all the extras in the world to go with it. The lot 12 gilt was the gilt you probably seen featured on our Facebook page earlier in the week. That gilt's so athletic, so good in terms of the turnout of her blade down her back. She's got a little extra hair. That gilt has an insanely bright future. And 13, there's something to be said. She's one that's a little stouter skulled. She's got a big ankle. The gilt's robust and three-dimensional. And I don't know if people have really, taken assessment of the Chester breed at jackpots and county shows and then at state level shows over the last couple of years. But this is a breed that, in all reality, creates a lot of opportunity for someone who wants to go win, and these two gilts provide that opportunity to do so. Not saying that it's not a breed you'd want to show. I'm saying these are two gilts that you definitely want to because they're good regardless. They're the kind that can compete at the end of the day. Really appreciate Pruitt bringing these two. I think these are two elite, high-caliber, foundation-type Chester gilts. We're glad to have them here today at this sale.
Next up will be lot 22 from Wilbur Genetics. If you want to talk about somebody that's been on a bender lately, that Wilbur's been on a hot streak. I definitely want to get in here. And then you start studying the pedigree, and this is a hero back on a Breaking Bad. And if you're new to this game and don't know what Hero's done, you might ought to look it up. Them Heroes have been as good everywhere that you can think of. He will stamp that skull in one, and this one's got it. I mean, that thing is wide between her eyes, and it got a great ear set, long up through its front end. Studied the bone work on this one. Grant brought a good one. And then Breaking Bad on the bottom side is as good as it gets as well. That's a very nice female here from Wilbur Genetics.
Yeah, I mean, another gilt in the lineup that's on her way up, and from a place that's, just absolutely slaughtered people over the last 10 months in terms of show gilts and show bears. They've got a killer set of sows. Grant told me a few weeks ago he really liked this gilt. Said she was a bit greener, but it said she was stupid big-armed and hairy, and he wasn't lying one bit. This gilt's great-chested, big-armed, stout and hairy. This gilt's just the kind that's going to get you in the middle of everything you go to. Feeder's Dream, gilt that I don't think is going to have to require any kind of management. You just take care of her and go win. It's a very nice gilt.
That's lot 22 from Wilbur. Next pair of spotted gilts here will be from Jennings Show Pigs. I'd bet the farm says they're out of Titans, and I haven't seen the pedigree yet, but yes, they're out of Titan. What do we got here, 14 and 15? Sorry, 34 and 35. 34 is the black gilt over here on the far side, closest. Well, I guess she's closest to the camera now. 34 is a Titan Say Win. I think it's said and done that this Titan is working. I think he just had a heck of a Tulsa in the spot drive. He will make them black, and you study this thing's structure. You study the shape up high. Study that one's look through her front end, the center cage in that one, the way she travels. That's a very good representative of the spot breed. It says the dam's a litter mate to the Mabry Bearer from last winter and the champion spot at Muskogee Regional last winter. Grandma is Titan's mama, so it'll be Titan, and it has Titan's mom as the grandma, so that's lined up there. And not many females of this caliber leave the farm there in Ada, and it's good to know why, because I mean he likes making them. He likes making show bearers that win, and it takes females like this to make show bearers that win. Then we get into lot 35 here, the whiter colored gilt there in the middle. This one is a Titan No Words Loudmouth. Mama was champion spot and reserve grand at Fort Worth. She was 4th overall spot at San Antonio, reserve champion at Houston in 21, and produced the 3rd overall spot gilt at San Antonio in 22. Another one that's royally bred. The proof is in the pudding. The sows work. This one's going to work. That one's a nickel longer bodied than the other one, but that's not going to hurt her any at all. She's a little greener patterned at this one, but that ain't going to hurt a spotted hog at all. You look at that when you study your design, you study the muscle shape and makeup. I think that's a very good spotted or gilt in her own right from Jennings Show Pigs.
So we ease those two spot gilts out. We're going to run in Brady's crossbred gilt. This will be lot 36. She is sired by All Out, back on Next Intention. I talked to Brady at Tulsa, and he's like, well, let me see what I got. And he reached deep and found those two spotted gilts and said he had a crossbred gilt he wanted to bring. I think a gilt that is kind of a no-holes hog that maybe didn't take to the weather quite as well last night, but give her a warm day here, and by sale time she's going to be back right. Good bodied, stout, extended, flexible kind of gilt, just one that has a lot of feedability to her. Very happy to have Brady join the sale this year, and really appreciate him bringing these three.
Next one in is going to be lot 39. This is a D&D livestock consignment. This gilt is this is the belted one of the two. Her pedigree is And Then Some Proposal. The mama raised the reserve dark at Rio Grande Valley in Texas last spring. The light cross gilt that was champion or reserve at 6 shows and was 5th overall at Creek County. That Creek County is a wasp nest here in Oklahoma, and that thing, that blue gilt out of this mama was good last year. And the other one wins a county in Texas, so she had to have been good. You study this thing, and she has got ginormous legs. She looks like the dinosaur when you look at her up through the front end. Huge forearm, huge hip and hind leg laid in that one. That's a very nice belted female if she'll just quit being a knothead and drive.
This is easily as we ease that belted gilt back out. I think we've got ourselves something real special here, and we've got lot 40 that's going to be entering the ring here in a second. New breed for D&D livestock, but definitely worth it. Got a Chester gilt. She's a custom built box office. The dam originated at D4 Livestock in Arkansas. And if you've paid attention to their program over the last few years before they dispersed, they won about everything in that breed. Dam was champion Chester at Southeast area in 21. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that Brandon Spears' family showed that sow. That would have been a litter mate to Gidget that T-Love had that won a lot that winter. I believe Maddie Lovelace showed her. Let's see. This one has been a farm favorite and has been very popular by everyone who has seen her, and I think that's a true statement. This is a gilt that, within this breed, offers a ton of good. I think this is the deepest set of Chester gilts I've seen anywhere. So if that's what you're after, we got them. This is a very good gilt. Nice pair from D&D Livestock. Really appreciate him bringing them. Be sure to get over here to Stillwater if you're hunting down a Chester female.
Droneberger went over and cherry-picked the top end of those Chester females from Lovelace when Lovelace dispersed his Chester herd last year, and Lovelace has been on a tear with them things, and Lovelace bought these, some sows from Todd Dickinson over there in Arkansas, and when then he decided he didn't want to keep Chesters anymore, so Droneberger dug deep in here and cherry-picked a couple off the top, and this is out of one of them sows, and there's no slouch for quality when you get into that one. Very good set from D&D Livestock. Next up, we got the Seabury entry here, this black stocking-footed gilt. She's a day drinking back on her trenches. And that trenches gilt originated there at JD's, and this gilt is going to be extremely heavy-centered. I think the muscle, the bone work is going to be there. That sow laid down and did a nice job, and in her first litter, and we're very pleased with these. That gilt's very comfortable on the move there, and very shapely up high. It's a big center cage in her. I think it's a nice kind of female that Christian decided to let go of.
When Christian unloaded her this morning and walked her to the wash rack, I told him with one trip to the vet and a dream, you can have one heck of a jackpot season with this thing, because if she shows at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, it really won't matter. That is a very good gilt. Color does help her in some aspect if you want to get creative, but that is definitely a very good dark cross gilt in her own right. Very shapely, big back, big bladed, one that still can handle it. Really appreciate Christian bringing that one to us. We're going to bring in another sale feature here. We don't have many of these. So when I was teaching ag, I actually helped buy this one's mom last year. This is a landrace gilt from Melinick Livestock. She is a timing's right boar that's been landrace sire of the year for like the last 3 years. Timing's right, timeout, breakaway. Mother would have been 8th overall at Hawaii in 23. That gilt was like a $3,200 baby pig from Lennox at the Fall Classic last year. This gilt is no accident. She is very good. There's actually a littermate brother that's coming up to Orlando. That's as good a one I've ever seen. So if you want to get in on the ground floor of one that can take you somewhere within that breed. When this gilt changes her attitude and cocks her head, she has got an incredible skull shape and ear set for that breed. I'm big on that. I know Jaden, when I went and looked at her at his house the other day, he's like, I got it narrowed down to these. This one was very shapely, very square, very stout. And in that breed, if you can make them big-legged and long-necked and look like a show pig, you're going to have a real good day. I think that's a high-quality landrace gilt.
I don't know anything about this breed other than what they're supposed to. When they look like crossbreds, they're good. And the back shape and the front foot size in this thing looks like a crossbred. That can't be a bad thing for the breed. Smaller ear set, shapely back, big feet, getting where you fit in here on the landrace deal. That's Millennium Livestock, look like 18. Next coming in, we got a Poland Chinese from T&L Livestock. Tucker had to go off and go to Holy Smoke and look for his next barra. So we got sister driving this one, and she probably drives them better than brother does anyways. But look at the foot size in this thing. The pedigree reads Johnny Cash Woodstock Sitting Bull. And for you Poland enthusiasts, this thing just balances extremely well. She looks like a Poland should. She's got a dense skull and big feet, and that's a plus anytime you can get a big foot size in a Polander. And that's a very nice female here from TL Livestock.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this breed either, but that one sure looks good. And according to Heath, this one's mom cut a path through the jackpot circuit, and very, very good gilt, bred right. And these people love this breed. They're very good at raising them.
All right, this is the two crossbred consignments from TL Livestock. The white one there, lot 29, is a change of the game on a feed your addiction killer instinct. That sow originated down there at Cooper and Flash, and if it's got that killer swagger super in there as an extended pedigree, it's the good stuff from there. You study this gilt. She's white. She looks like a show pig. I don't know if there's any blue on her. Yeah, it looks like there's one spot behind her ear maybe, or is that poop? Never mind. No, she's solid white, no blue at all, and that thing's got big feet, and the cage in this thing is incredible. That's a very neat, solid white one. That's lot 29. And then we get into 30, the belted, chromed up, skunk-faced one, and this one looks like a show pony. She's a rightfully so tricked out cracker. So you study that one's pedigree, and that one's got a great big forearm and a long giraffe neck laid in her. She's green, but the muscle pattern's where it needs to be at this point. The skull shape is densely like the hip and hind leg in that one extremely well. Very nice set of crossbreds. The tricked out cracker sow came from Cantrell on that deal. So, and hell, if you know what Cantrell's done in that gilt ring at OIE and to have one out of that stuff, it can't be wrong there. So that's a very nice set of crossbred gilts from TL Livestock. Lot 29 and 30.
The solid white gilt would be lot 38. She is a K13 albino rhino blue duck white man. Are you my sister? Georgia went back to the great grandma on the pedigree, and but that is a cool pedigree. Actually, the Are You My Sister sow came from Real Time Genetics, way down there, and then behind that was a double bred super monster sow. So there's the solid white gilt. Seen her a couple weeks ago. Thought that gilt was really nice in terms of her outline. She's got a little blue on the left rim of her nose, but man, that thing's athletic. She's got bendy joints, and I hate that term, but she's got them. She's shapely. That's a very nice gilt in her own right. We get to the belted gilt, and George says it better than I do, but she's a Pistola, Blue Duck, White Man, Are You My Sister? And if you follow their program back, that Are You My Sister, White Man, those two sows have been real instrumental in putting together their crossbred program. I think these are two gilts that are only going to get better. I think they've got a ton of future. With the chromed up belted gilt, another one that's really hard to let go of. I know George said the mother of this gilt raised the champion York at Woodward District last spring. That pair of Blue Duck sows have had a drastic impact on the operation. Both have consistently put barrows in premium sales the last few years. And over the years of knowing George and the Haymaker family, they've always been super competitive with show barrows. And these gilts are worth their weight in gold to them. I know it's hard for them to let these two go. I think these two are awfully good in their own right. Be sure to look them up in the back.
That's lot 37 and 38 from Haymaker Show Pigs. Next up, I think we got Josh Rochelle. All right, we got two Berkshire and a Berkshire-ish. We got one's got papers, one don't. We're going to start with lot 50, the purebred. That'll be the one over here coming across the middle right there, lot 50. She's a Southern Thunder Family Jewels Juice It. This is the type of female they like to keep. His daughter said she didn't want to show a Berkshire this year, so here she is. She's extremely bold in her makeup, yet feminine in her look. Heavy structured, really cool look on the move. She just puts it all together very nicely. The color pattern's perfect. There's power in the blood. Southern Thunder is a pound town. And then if you don't know what Family Jewels is, you don't need a Berkshire, I don't think, because that Family Jewels rebuilt that Berkshire breed and made it a lot better. You study this thing, and the sow here is the mother to the reserve at OYE. You study this thing up high. That's an extremely big back in a Berkshire. That rear wheel works like it's supposed to. Her hocks are where they're supposed to. The head and neck carriage in this thing is very good in a Berkshire. That lot 50 there is a purebred, and she is very dang good. Then we get into 52. And 52 is a Berkish and colored better than a lot of them that are pure when you start studying about color pattern. She's a Waterberg Tinket Juice It. That thing's got a purebred mama there, and just decided to breed her to Waterberg and make some barrows and some gilts that can go on and make barrows for other people. That thing has got all the shape in the world. The color pattern's amazing to jackpot all winter. Feet and legs are incredible. That's a very nice female there in her own right. One Berkshire lot 50, one Berk appearing, one lot 52.
So for pedigree junkies that like to trace it back all the way, on the lot 50 gilt, well, actually both, but on the pure gilt, this is pretty valuable info. So the Juice It sow in the pedigree, which would be the grandma, that particular sow was the Reserve Berkshire gilt at the Fall Classic. And Cecil, I think you know the mama behind that one. And you can tell them a little bit about that, because I don't.
The Juice It sow there would have been a Juice It Superfly Venom. Conair Time Bandit, if you want to get extended on that. The Superfly Conair Venom gilt would have been the Venom Conair sow would have been the mama to the $33,000 one that we raised quite a few back in like 13. That would was granted OYE that Heimer buys and starts his Berkshire program there with, and he did real well for them there. So that's the extended pedigree. There's power in the blood here. Just buy them how you like them. If you want to show a dirty one all winter for a young kid that's not going to OYE, this dirty gilt with jackpot and have a fun time doing it. Or this lot 50 is going to get in the mix just about anywhere she goes as well. Nice pair of Berkshire appearing, a Berk and a Berk appearing.
Next in is going to be lot 51, also from Rochelle Livestock. This will be another landrace. This is 2 of 2 landrace in the sale. This gilt's mom sold for $4,000, I think, this summer from Platt. So be good at OYE in terms of fitting the mold, in terms of what landrace gilt should look like. She's big armed, she's big ankled, she's bold centered, gilt that Still has a good running gear underneath her. One that's probably a little more progressed in terms of her size and age and maturity compared to other landrace in the sale. So pick your poison. I think both of these landrace gilts are very good. Little info behind mom. Mother was the plat purchase on the bred sale. She's a mate to the champion and reserve champion gilts at the 23 NJSA Southeast Regional, as well as the reserve barrow there as well. Her pedigree is a crackerjack, playing by the rules, hammer down. And actually, if it matters to you, the sow that helped us build our landrace program was a playing by the rules, hammer down sow. We own part of crackerjack, or did own part of crackerjack. This is a pedigree that makes sense to me. Looks like a gilt that should continue to feed and get better. Depending on the feed bucket you put in front of her, there's a lot of potential with this gilt to be very competitive on down the road.
Next couple of lots here are going to be Jacob Edmonds, Edmonds Livestock, Show Pigs, whatever you want to call them. This white one here is out of a boar that Jacob has down there. He's called Nightlinger. What's the pedigree on Nightlinger? Nightlinger is a wedding night dirty deal, white Russian. He was Mama was third overall at OYE a few years back. He wants to put the memo that she does have an extra dew claw on there, and she's got one spot above her eye. But other than that, that thing is solid white and can whoop the Yorkshire's tail all winter. And then running that light crossbred deal at OYE, and we know how valuable them things can get if they got a back like that and big feet and a big forearm like that one has. That one can thump the blues if you want to know the truth. The skull's incredible. The foot size is incredible. The hocks are where they're supposed to be inside of her skeleton. That's a very nice solid white one out of Nightlinger, a boar that no one knows about, but he's going to make some noise, I'd imagine. Very good show pig, lot 43 from Jacob Edmonds.
So if anybody was at OYE a few years ago, Nightlinger's mom is actually a sow that was at Justin Day's. That was the blue-nosed one that Striker fed for a family in Lindsay. Is that right, Jacob? And if you were there and watched the Light Cross show that year, you have to remember that gilt because she had an absolute whale back, was stout, honestly looked fake, and still to the day, I'm assuming she's still alive because Justin had some pigs that went back to her this past spring. She looks identical in the sow pen as she did the day she showed at OYE. It's impressive. So, I mean, there is power in the blood here. Not a lot of people know about this boar, Jacobs. This will be the second set of pigs I've seen this season out of that boar, and they're both good. There is a ton of future, and you need to look him up because being a wedding night son, I think Jacob used him to make some dirty spots or Polands. So it sounds like he kind of follows color of the sow here, being solid black and being a wedding night. If anybody remembers a few years ago, that boar had a little track record with that. Very, very good, solid white gilt with a little blue on her nose. We're real happy she's here.
Let's get this white one kicked out, and let's let the good one of Jacobs come in. I seen this thing when I first walked in this morning, coming out of the wash racks, and she caught my eye, and not a whole lot of purebred Poland hogs are going to catch my eye, but I thought this one would look extremely cool, and then just seeing her out here, she's even better. She's an unapologetic and on an all due respect. The sow was reserve Poland at the State Fair of Texas. The boar was reserve Poland boar at High Selland at 22 Southwest Type Conference at Belton. That's the one you raised, right? That's the one Jacob raised. So, I mean, this is all Jacob's stuff. This gilt's sharp looking with the side, with a cage, stout, and still athletic. Study this Poland gilt. I mean, to get a Poland gilt with this kind of mass up high and still be solid black, like a negative. She's got some hair where that breed doesn't have hair. She's got some bone where they lack in bone, and she's got some skull where they lack in skull. Study the shape. I think Jacob brought an extremely good Poland gilt here that needs to be bid on and bid on often.
I think Jacob, we popped her out of the trailer when it was like 45 degrees this morning at like 2 o'clock, somewhere in there. So she spent some time on the trailer yesterday, and she looks the way she does now with just a short morning of some feed and water. This gilt's there. She's real, she's natural, and she's very, very good. We're going to run the solid white gilt from Brady Crone in at the moment. She is a last-minute awestruck. This will be lot 4. This gilt, she's dirty. Yep. She's not pure. Last minute, I want to say maybe a boar at Burling's, the collection. I may be mistaken on that. I'm not sure. Very good gilt that Brady called the other day and said, hey, I got a white one I'm pretty happy with. This gilt, when she cocks off from the side, she has a very elite presence about her. One that with that shot of purebred on the bottom side, you know, you've got to think down the road. These things are show pigs, but someday the goal is that they reproduce and make pigs better. That's so valuable today, and in a world where crossbreds are valued and traded based on their visual appearance, and I think a lot of that has to do with their metabolism and people getting needle whipped, to quote Tanner Winter. But this gilt right here has the actual pieces to make those things better and give you a world of opportunity in mating decisions on down the road. This gilt has an incredible look, incredible set of feet and legs, very bright future in front of this white one. Very happy Brady brought this gilt. Go ahead and ease her out, and then we'll bring in his pair of dark crossbred gilts. I don't have much in terms of write-up on these two. However, this is lot 5 and 6. 5 is closest to the camera, 6 is closest to the block. Both of these gilts are sired by Cotton Appin, which, once again, if you've been in Oklahoma and on last season's jackpot circuit, you had to see that little crossbred boar that the Frontline and Bowling Crew sported at all these shows. I think he won the Red Chip show. Boar went down to Major League and showed there. That's where I first seen him. Thought he was very impressive. The sow behind these two gilts isn't a firm sow. Both of these are peas in a pod. Lot 5's closest to the camera. 6 is closer to the block. Both of these gilts have a great body type, a good set of wheels. Just two gilts that are going to be extra high quality and very feedable as you take them on down the road. These are two very good projects you ought to look into.
That's lot 5 and 6 crossbreds from Brady Crone.
We got lot 23 and 24, and actually we don't have info on these, so I'm just going to let the breeder tell you about them. It'd be Mick Clark.
Thank you, guys. Anybody that knows me knows I forget to do about everything I'm supposed to do and didn't even think about that till I saw him reading stuff up here. But anyway, guys, I brought you guys a pair of spot gilts up here. These are double up, the boar at Bobby Liston's. He is a double-time Louis. The boar is really tall at the shoulders, really good through that front, 1/3 big in his rib, lots of shape and muscle. And the sow is a Hollywood Boulevard sow that we bought out of Arkansas. She was the champion or reserve champion, that AOA, whatever that thing is over there. The great thing about this sow, guys, this sow is the one that raised our champion spot and reserve supreme overall gilt at OYE in 22. This is the same mother that raised them. These gilts are here, I think as you look at them, guys, they're super, super green, and I think that's probably a thing in the spot deal you kind of need to like at times. The feet and legs are good on these. That sow is tremendous in her feet and legs, square in their makeup. These will get better every day, and they will kind of bulk up in their bone and get stouter as they go on. A really nice feedable set, guys. These are the first two out of that litter to leave this year. This will be her 4th litter, and she has at least one a year, sometimes 2 or 3 out of those litters hit every time. So get in here with some confidence, guys.
Thanks, Mick. And that gilt at OYE that was out of this sow was very, very, very impressive. Yeah, we're good on these. All right, we have Philip Show Pigs coming in here, and one thing I know about Cooper, when he says he's got one, he's got one. This gilt is an absolute supermodel from the side, sired by Pace Car, back on a Heartbreaker Never Before sow. This one's got a very bright future. Mom would have raised the reserve Hamp Bear at the Southern New Mexico State Fair, class winner at the American Royal. She's also raised the boar Next Up that stands at Philip Show Pigs. So regardless if you're buying a show gilt or a sow, should be a wise investment. If you've got Snapchat and you've got Cooper on Snapchat, he has videoed Next Up, excuse me, got the name wrong, last week, right? And that thing looks like an absolute He-Man. He is so big-legged, so stout. You could drive a truck underneath him. He's a freak. This gilt is only going to continue to get stout and generate that type of mass and dimension. It's in the pedigree. You can't change that fact. She's going to get good, and she already is.
What's the never before sow on this? What's the Heartbreaker never before sow? You show her?
Yeah, you got to get this one out in the back. She's handy on a whip.
This one will be lot 10 from Pale. If you know Corey, he was running late and didn't get her paint branded, but we expect that from CP. Hang on, we got a little malfunction here trying to draw up some pedigree. Well, I don't even know about her pedigree, but you study that thing's look and the bulk and the center body and that one. That cage is incredible. The blade's incredible. That one's opened up, coming at you and going away. Feet are planted where they're supposed to be, and that head and neck and that thing is very unique. This thing can give them hell, I imagine. She's got all the tools it needs. She's an Ascension Uno Kingpin. And he's not right in his head for letting this one go. Maybe the most elite crossbred gilt he's made to date, and I think he's made a few. Mother's a mate to Coy Craig's Calico Bear that cut a swath a couple winters ago, and that sow puts a bear in the cell at Colorado State Fair and a gilt in the cell at Tulsa this last week. If y'all ever got a chance to see Coy's Calico Bear, he looked a lot like this one, but had a sheath and was calico. That thing was a monster, and this thing looks like a monster. This is a very good one that Corey decided to let go today, and he must have bills to pay to let this one go. So y'all get in where you like to. That's lot 10 from Corey Pale.
So another fact to mention, in last year's sale, Pell Livestock would have raised the 45th overall commercial dark cross gilt at OYE, and that gilt sold through this ring last year, and she was very good, but folks, she didn't look like that. That one's special.
Pale. Lot 10. Yeah. Ha.
Okay, the gilt that is, Amy, go towards the camera so we can identify them. Pell Livestock here. So the gilt that's going right across your screen, that'll be the lot 11. She's a top shelf, don't pass go, speak now. Corey says, wild look, big features, incredible mom. Quite possibly will be the last gilt sold out of this sow. She's got an intact brother heading to PT in a couple weeks. And I think that show pig code for you better buy her because it's going to make her worth more money later. So, top shelf, say what? He's done. So if you want a top shelf female, that one right there is pretty good. See, the gilt in the dead center of the ring, That'll be a Secret Stash, Bane, Don't Pass Go, Speak Now. Another real good looking gilt with the right kind of muscle pattern and built to feed for the long haul. I want to say she's lot 50. No, I believe she's 53. Yeah. Yeah, lot 53 be the 11 litter. Another real good gilt. I think an awesome pair of Berkshire gilts. 2 pedigreed Berkshire gilts, incredibly bright future, perfect color. Yeah, you're not going to get a little color chart thrown at you at Coba or at OYE for these two. They're going to fit the mold and be where you want them. Real good pair, good trio. Thanks, Corey, for bringing them.
That was Pell Livestock tag number 11 and tag number 53. This pair here we've got from Bowles Livestock, and Trent brought a damn nice pair. The belted gilt here will be lot 45, and her pedigree is an icon, first rule, best man. Pell called the 49 as the 4-9 as the girl night out entry early in her life, and said that she's going to Stillwater. She comes from an impressively deep big litter out of Weisinger sow that's sure to make a name for herself in the second litter. Dash 9's big feet, killer look, and great set of running gear. Simply, we like this one. That's the belted gilt. She'll be lot 45. That thing has a Mongo back laid in her and big feet and big legs. Yeah, we're glad that that one's here. The white gilt here will be lot number 54, and she is a Say It Hidden Secret. She's fun to look at. Say It was a perfect board to put on this old white sow that made the 12th overall York at OYE this spring. Dark fronted, big back. Dash 12 deserves a night out in Stilly. So he decided to bring this one as well. She's out of Icon, and needless to say, that thing is dialed in. Whoever decided that the Hamp one was better to bring early might have been crazy, because this white one might be as good as there is in the barn. As good a light cross as we see, and that one will go play with them lights at OYE extremely well. Chest floor is incredible. Feet are square. That's a very nice white pig that Trent decided to bring us. That's lot 45 on the belt and lot 54 on the light cross gilt from Bowles Livestock.
Next in, we have Lad Show Pigs, and we've got 14 entering the ring now. This is a belted gilt. She's a Good Day Rockstar Red 7. And if you like raising crossbred sows, hearing Red 7 in the pedigree ought to get you fired up, because those things just provide a little extra shot in that mix in terms of generating ability and just female power. I know I talked to Dallas a couple weeks ago, and he said, I've got a belted gilt that I think is an absolute hammer, probably the best one we've ever let go of. I know when this gilt was in the barn last night, I hopped her up. First thing that entered my mind, she looks like all those good best mans did at the time when they were knocking down every single crossbred show in the country. That is a big-backed, good-bodied, short-backed, long-fronted, square-built gilt. I think the potential's incredible with that one. I love this gilt. Very, very good one. Really appreciate them bringing her. You're going to drive a long ways to find a gilt that is as proportional as what that one is.
And here she is in Stillwater, America, ready for y'all to buy her this evening. That's from Lad Livestock, or Lad Show Pigs. That was lot 14. 15's coming in, Chester Hog. This is a chained up, custom made. The mama was mom had the reserve Chester Bear and third overall Chester Bear at Tulsa in 21. In 22, she raised the third and fourth overall Chester Bears at Tulsa. This mama makes them that wins, and this gilt's no slouch in her own right. This chained up boar that she's out of is very good in his own right. Study that one at the point of the shoulders all the way back to her from the rooter to the tutor. That one's creased up. Feet and legs are extremely good. She's big-legged. The center cage in this thing's incredible. That's a very nice Chester gilt here from Ladd Livestock, or Ladd Show Pigs, whatever they're going by. Yeah, it's all good. Grandpa Ladd's Show Pig project. But that's a very nice Chester gilt there. That's lot 15. '16 and 17 are from Whittington, and nice pair of crossbred gilts it looks like here. Let me get a pedigree for you real quick. Are they mates? '16 here, it looks like a 38 liter, is that right? That thing is a... She is a Amigo tricked out. Give me the pedigree. That is the lot 16 here, belted gilt going across the middle. First time sow. That was his son's show gilt in 22 that made the sale at Tulsa. Extremely lined up pedigree. The sow's pedigree is tricked out never before. Mi Amigo's pedigree is a tricked out never before. We like this one a lot. We did find a bump on her navel when we got her in the pen here at sale day. Could possibly need surgery or not. Personally, I think a few days of antibiotics will clear it up. Okay, we're talking about the belted gilt over here, lot 16. That gilt's a wound tight, tricked out never before, and the boar and the sow are basically bloodline siblings. This thing has got a monster back and hip laid in her. All the power in the world you're going to need in that one with ginormous rear feet and front feet, forearm. Very good pig in her own right. Lot 17 is a Keep Cool Rock Star. This is the painted up black hip gilt there. And this sow was 14th overall at OYE in 2020. Constantly makes nice pigs that are competitive. This gilt looks like one that could be a very nice show prospect. With a genetic pull, can make an even better sow. Study this painted gilt. She's a nickel longer bodied than the belted one. She balances extremely well. She's got big feet and big legs in her own right as well. The skull's what's incredible in this one. The rib cage is good. Very nice pair of crossbred gilts from Whittington.
Very nice pair of crossbred gilts. And the next one coming in should be Strebers. Okay. Lot 46 coming in is going to be Streber Genetics. And unless you've lived under a rock in the last calendar year or 24 months, you have to know who Dakota Streber is because he is the breeder of OG at Weather Show Pigs. So this gilt is sired by Swish, tricked out in-game. And if you know Dakota's program, he's got a very small handful of sows that he has built everything around. And I would venture to say that behind the in-game sow is probably a blue never-before sow somewhere. And if you've seen her in person, she's about as impressive as they get. Mother is a mate to Easy For You at Scott and Doug Dean up at SD Genetics and OG at Weather Show Pigs. So mother is a litter mate to Easy For You and OG. Also a mate to the Reserve Grand Overall Prospect Hog at the Indiana Stock Show and a class winner in 8th overall dark cross barrel at Tulsa in 22. I would say that in terms of breeding value, this gilt has a lot of it. And then visually, that is an athletic show pig that's just really good everywhere. So I think an incredible nice gilt here from Streber Genetics that is not wanting to cooperate today.
This one's mama had the biggest legs I've ever seen on a show gilt at 300 pounds. It was plumb ridiculous. Like, they were bigger than my bicep. They were bigger than Eric Trogdon's biceps. That's how big her legs were.
And if you don't know Eric Trogdon, that's probably pretty big. So the cutoff king. Yep. So we got Dave Family Show Pigs. Let's see if we got a write-up on them. Berkshire-ish. Yep. So the crossbred gilt, we'll start with her. That would be lot 2. Chromed up gilts, a Say It Kingpin out of line. Dam was 8th overall dark cross at OYE in 21. She's also the mother of day drinking at Winter Circle. So this gilt is out of day drinking's mom. If you've seen day drinking pigs kind of out on your search and your hunt for your next one, he does a lot of things very consistently, and I think this gilt speaks volumes for what that sow's able to generate in her pigs. They're athletic, they're stout, they've got a very proportional look about them, ones that are just going to continue to get better every day on feed. I had the privilege a few weeks ago to peek my head in the barn at Justin's house, and I saw these Dirty Burks. The littermate brothers to these are absolutely insane. So not saying that that should be enough to convince you, but if you just look at her, she's a top it off water Burke, x-ray vision. Dam is a littermate to the champion Burke bear at OYE in 21, and that was the season that I think Day had like, yeah, it was like 3 of the 5 Berkshire Barrows at the top end of that deal. He actually just knocked him down. This gilt, proof's in the pudding here. She is massive where she needs to be. She's pretty where she needs to be. That gilt has a great look and design about her. Killer set of wheels. Very stout, very robust. If you want to make show bears, you probably should buy this pig.
That concludes our offering here at the Girls Night Out. Thanks for viewing. And I think, can you rewatch this on Facebook Live? I think you can rewatch this throughout the day there on Facebook Live. And sale starts at what?
Preview at 5.
Preview at 5 this evening. We'll have another live preview. We'll prance them all around, let everybody see. Sale starts at 7. We hope to see y'all soon.
Another note, just want to make sure everybody's clear about, in terms of payment for pigs here, we do take cash, we do take check, and we do take credit card. So there's also CCI Live option. So if you'd prefer to bid online, you can also do it that way. So in terms of transportation, just a disclaimer, we do not have transportation routes set up at this moment. So if you're a buyer out there in Facebook land or watching on Walton, and there's a gilt you think you might be interested in buying, and you're not going to be here, call me before the sale, text me, and we'll get something worked out. It's 2023. We can solve a lot of problems. Getting a pig to you is definitely one of those things we can solve. So with that said, thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you later tonight.